Okay, so great. We're recording. Ilse, thank you so much for agreeing for this interview with me.
It's joy being here.
Can you please tell me who are you and what do you do?
Okay, well, that's a big question. I guess it started for me early in childhood, when I would have these kind of supernatural experiences. I would see like spirits, ghosts. I would be like really sensitive. And then at some stage, these experiences stopped. That happened when I started sharing with them, with my family, and they were probably telling me that I'm making things up. And then I kind of got into the matrix world for a while, kind of forgot that side of me, which was always there from the beginning when I was born on this earth. And then for a while, I was a fashion designer, I was doing modeling, and I was having this glamorous lifestyle, completely different kind of life that I'm living now. I would say that in this one lifetime, I had many different lifetimes, really, I would say, enriching experiences, also difficult experiences, lots of eye-opening experiences. But I remember during that period in my life when I was having this glamorous lifestyle, I would feel this emptiness inside of me, and I wasn't really truly happy. I felt that something was missing, and I knew that there was something deep inside of me, some light within me that just wanted to kind of express itself, but I did not know how. And then my path took me to Bali, and in Bali, I experienced spontaneous kundalini awakening. At that point, I wasn't much into spirituality. I had not much concept about kundalini. I went to this temple, and basically there was this ceremony that was performed on me, and I had this spontaneous kundalini awakening. My whole body would start to shake. I experienced these kind of out of consciousness states, orgasmic states. And pretty much I would say from that point onward, my path in my life completely changed. And then some years later, I met Energy Master Venant Wong. He guided me towards working in this kind of field, working with Kundalini energy. So he was one of my teachers, one of my masters. And later on my path, I also connected with some other energy transmission masters, and all this new life would open up for me. Mm. And in a way, it felt like it wasn't really new. It was something that was deep inside of me ever since childhood. I was just finally on my path, and I'm finally living my purpose and sharing my energy transmissions, helping people. So now I'm doing Kundalini activation sessions pretty much wherever I travel around the world. I've been living in different places around the world, and I'm just sharing my work with people, waking people up, activating people. Mm. So that's, I guess, a little bit about me.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
for
also
sharing.
an artist. There's other things that I do, but perhaps we can stay focused on the energy transmission.
Yeah. So, like, if you want to go a bit deeper, what do you believe in? What do you devote yourself in your life to?
What am I devoting myself in my life to currently? I would say that is my connection with spirit. There's nothing really most important for me than that. And however you want to call it, for some people it's connection with source, connection with God. I work as energy transmission channel. So when I do my sessions, I feel that I'm opening up the energy field. I'm opening myself up as a channel, as a divine vessel to transmit the raw life force energy. And I'm definitely devoting myself on this path to walk this path in purity. That is really what I deeply devote myself to.
Thank you. can you maybe say something about devotion in your life and how it has changed over the years? Were you always devoted to this, or like when did the devotion really set in?
I would say ever since I had my kundalini awakening, everything shifted. I would say that kundalini energy really wakes up your body. It wakes up your spirit. You start to feel everything to a whole new different level. For example, you have suddenly this aliveness inside of you. You become more sensitive to energies, and it's like certain veil is lifted, and suddenly you can see the world with new eyes. So it is really actually hard to describe this state in words.
Yeah.
But you start to look at the world differently. Everything shifts.
Yeah.
Please remind me your question again. I kind of get carried away a bit.
No. You're doing fine. I was asking about devotion and how devotion in your life has, how it has changed over the years.
So ever since the Kundalini awakening, I would have these states in my body that sometimes it was like spontaneous crying of gratitude. I would have certain bliss states, and I would say that I would feel this deep devotion towards spirit. And when we really experience these states, everything changes, and we start to feel this deep devotion inside of ourselves that is leading us forward to our true path. And there's no questions at that stage. There's no wondering what we are supposed to do. We are just following this devotion to spirit, fully lead us forward in life. And all else really disappears. We trust this. And this is what I call embodiment. When we start to have the Kundalini awakenings, when we experience certain kind of states inside of us, it kind of rewrites our system. And we start to really live in this state of devotion day by day, moment by moment.
Yeah, thank you. Can you speak about the feminine and the masculine in your life?
That's a topic that I'm quite passionate about. I always felt that one of my gifts on this world is to share the divine feminine energy. And I feel that it's just something that's energetically in my system, like a certain gift that I'm meant to share. I'm meant to perhaps bring some balance into the world, because this world has been very much into unconscious masculine. So people have been in certain states of mind only, disconnected from their hearts, disconnected from their spirit. So the feminine brings back the balance. The feminine is energy of love, energy of heart, energy of devotion, energy of divine sensuality. It's all of these things that are kind of a bit forgotten in the world, and things have been twisted and things have been changed, and we've been living very much in this unconscious masculine. So I feel that one of my roles also with my energy transmissions is to bring back the divine feminine. And of course, divine feminine and divine masculine, it needs to be in balance. And the way I really feel these energies, I feel the divine feminine, it's the Shakti, the Kundalini. So that is the life force in everything living on our planet. Everything in the universe, the energy. And the masculine is the divine consciousness that can hold space for all that femininity to unfold and be wild and to create. So these are two forces that are really, everything is based on the divine feminine and divine masculine. And I feel strongly that we have to return back to harmony, where these forces can coexist in a healthy way.
Thank you. So from when you were young till now, can you maybe share something about the different ways that your consciousness has shifted and how you have had to adapt, to integrate, to live, to change.
Well, I would say that since my kundalini awakening, my whole life changed. I changed countries. I changed what I do in my life. My friend circles changed. My family was starting to think that I'm a bit weird. So everything really shifted. But I would not say that that was a struggle for me, because I felt like with the Kundalini awakening, it almost felt like some kind of quantum jump into new level of consciousness. And somehow I feel that I went quite smoothly through it, although I had some losses. What would be perceived from the matrix perspective, for example, that suddenly I'm not this great model or fashion designer. Suddenly my previous relationship ended. Certain things kind of collapsed in a way, but I would say that they needed to happen for me to rebirth into my new version of myself, my true self. So there was definitely these shifts happening. And it feels like that was really a different lifetime that I'm living comparing to now. So certainly I had to navigate and adjust some things, but I had such a strong kind of force inside of me leading me towards my true path that I had no doubts whatsoever. Although I guess I had still some of my human aspect, it would kind of was wondering. It might have felt a bit scary to let go certain things, certain people, perhaps my previous education or the work that I invested, for example, being a fashion designer or model, all of that previous life. But at the same time, this kind of force inside of me was so strong that I did not have a choice. I knew that I have to work with people. I knew that the energy coming through me, it wanted to come through me so strongly that sometimes my hands would be burning from energy, and I could not do this. I could not say no to this new life. It was really embracing me and calling me forward. And yeah, I would say I had no choice. I just surrendered.
Yeah. Thank you. What is flow? What is alignment?
Flow and alignment, I would say, again, tapping into the feminine energy. For me, flow is all about surrendering into the feminine, allowing the flow instead of perhaps being rigid, planning things, trying to control things. Again, that is very much this unconscious masculine, the way the whole world operates, and concept of flow, divine synchronicity, all of that is kind of more foreign to the matrix reality at the moment. But when we get into this flow, I would say that we live in alignment with our spirit, with our higher self, and our true path opens up when we surrender to the flow. When we get out of our heads, get out of controlling, trusting the spirit, lead the way in our lives, then we get into this beautiful flow. And we might not know where it's going to take us, but usually it takes us to the right places which perhaps with our minds we could never even imagine. So I would say trust the flow, surrender to the flow of life, surrender to the flow inside of you. Always listen to yourself, listen to your body, and really get into this state of flow day by day, moment by moment. It can be simple choices that we make every day, just fully taking time and just listening to ourselves. What do I need in this moment? So trying to disconnect from our heads and just getting into our bodies, because there's so much wisdom in our bodies, and our intuitions, it's just guiding us towards our flow.
Can CAP sessions help somebody get into flow, and how?
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, during the CAP session, we activate the body, we activate the kundalini energy. And I would say that it's when the kundalini energy gets activated, when we start to get in touch with this force inside of ourselves, we feel this life force being in a flow of life. It becomes like a byproduct of this practice, I would say. We get out of our heads, we get into our bodies, and then that's where our wisdom lies, in the body. So definitely it can greatly help us to get back in our true flow.
Thank you. What is, in your opinion, what is art?
Art. Beautiful question. Well, myself, I really do love painting, for example. This is one of my gifts, I guess, in this lifetime, and it's also my meditation. I just sometimes can get lost in art, creating art, but for me, true art is really life. It is really day by day. We can create this state of art every day, moment by moment. We can see beauty in everything. We can see beauty in ordinary, perhaps. And I feel that when the kundalini energy activates, we see world through new eyes, and often ordinary becomes extraordinary. And I would say from my life, since my kundalini energy got activated, I often would see simple things, like, for example, a beautiful leaf falling, and I would think, wow, creation is the greatest artist. There's no greater creation than God's creations, source creations, and we see art in everything. And this is really a state of being that we can tap into. And I feel that activating our energy, awakening the kundalini, it really, in a way, it kind of lifts the veil, and we see everything with new eyes, and we see that life is art, and we can be the creators of this masterpiece.
Thank you. Can you maybe also share something about your own artistic process? I've seen you dance on your videos. Like, can you tell me more about how that fits in your life?
Okay, my dance and my paintings. Again, that is my feminine expression. I would say my Shakti moving through me. And again, sometimes I cannot help myself. Some days I feel my body just wants to express myself, for example, in a sensual feminine dance. And I feel the energy moving through me, and I just have to express. And some days I just feel that suddenly I feel so much energy in my hands, and they need to be expressed by painting. And I need to mix certain colors together, and I just get lost in these processes sometimes. Often when I paint, it's like my deepest meditation. I used to do like regular meditations where I would sit and I would just get into these states. And these days, actually, dance or painting, that is my meditation. I get into these kind of non-dual states often from these practices. And I feel that, again, it's the creation wanting to move through us, wanting to celebrate this life, and we just need to surrender. Maybe one day I will start doing something else. For now, for the last years, I feel that dance and art has been my two main expressions, and somehow these energies are just moving through me, and it's gifting me with something. It's gifting me with peace, connection to myself, celebration of life. Perhaps my expressions gift others as well and inspire others.
Have you taken any classes, or? Not
Dancing or painting?
both.
I used to do art school, but that was a long time ago. And to be honest with you, I would say that it took away my natural talent for creation. It sounds a bit ironic, but I remember I went to art school and we were taught to draw a particular way, and we were taught to mix colors particular way, and we were taught to paint this realistic flower vase with like flowers and nothing else. And I just felt that it was so mundane. And I was still kind of enjoying it as a child, but at one point I was like, no, there's something different wanting to come through me. And actually, thanks to this art school, I stopped creating art for quite some time in my life. And then it took me a while to tap into my natural creativity again. So I feel that as children, we are born with our gifts, but often certain institutions actually, instead of really embracing our true expressions, they want to put us in certain boxes and teach us how to paint. And perhaps if you're lucky to have the right teacher, it can be amazing to advance your skills. But in my experience, that kind of took away from my natural abilities. And regards dance, I have not really taken any classes. It's been just something that naturally started to merge from my body. And again, that happened pretty much after the Kundalini awakening. I would feel these waves of energy moving through my body. And sometimes I would just put music on and I would find myself that I'm really enjoying myself. I'm really tapping into this feminine flow, and my body is flowing and moving. And I just knew that this is something I'm going to keep on practicing naturally.
Thank you. What is the biggest lesson you've learned from relationships, and how did you view them then, and how do you view them now?
Oh, wow, that's a powerful question. Okay, I would say that relationships in my life has been probably the most powerful catalyst for change, because often the other person is the mirror showing us our deepest wounding. Otherwise, we might be just happy living our lives, being single, smelling the flowers, and just enjoying ourselves, and not fully being aware of certain traumas inside of us, perhaps. So I would say that relationships have helped me greatly. And when I was going through some difficult times, I did not see that as a gift. Sometimes when I was in the past, when I was more unconscious, I would blame my partner. And now when I look back at these experiences, I see clearly that perhaps this really difficult person in my life, he was there as a blessing. Perhaps before this lifetime, we signed up to trigger each other greatly so we can reveal each other's deepest woundings. So I would say that relationship is really like a gift, and we help each other to bring each other home through difficult experiences. And yeah, wow, this is a huge topic. I can go on forever.
So what is your stance on trying a lot of different things, or focusing on one thing really, like really deeply?
Well, I feel again, this is individual. I can only speak about my journey, that somehow my path naturally led me to focus deeply on energy work, because that's where my gifts lie. But then again, my gifts also lie in healing arts, in perhaps movement medicine. So I feel that we are all multidimensional. We have different gifts inside of ourselves, but it's up to us. What is it that we truly want to master, perhaps? So perhaps if you are doing similar work like I'm doing, being energy transmission channel, perhaps it is wise to be fully devoted to this path and to purify yourself so you can offer your gifts in the most powerful, purest way. For example, if I look back at my journey starting this energy work, I would say that there has been so much purification during this process on emotional level, on physical level, what I put into my body. So I feel that that's where this devotion comes to. One thing that perhaps we really feel into, that this is something that we truly want to devote ourselves to, devote our lives to, and perhaps to devote ourselves to this one main thing, but still keep our other gifts.
Yeah, thank you. In terms of spirituality, like energy work, what have you yourself tried and what worked for you and what didn't work?
Okay. I would not say that I was going around trying all sorts of different things, but in terms of different modalities that I have tried, let's see. I have tried Reiki, for example. I felt it kind of beautiful but mild, very kind of mild. I have tried, I think, different kinds of body works, and also it all depends very much from the purity of the practitioner. I would say that that's the main thing, because, for example, receiving a Reiki session from one person and another could be two totally different experiences. For a while, I was also doing kundalini yoga, and I felt that that was actually quite powerful to a certain level, but it can take you only so far, perhaps. So there's these self-will practices, and I would say that most of the Western world, it's based on these self-will practices. For example, certain breathing exercises, certain physical exercises, that we are constantly doing things. But I would say what's been the most powerful for me in my journey and for many other people, it's really the part of surrender. So that's where practices like CAP comes in.
Yeah.
So, because I feel that at the end of the day, when we can really surrender to the spirit, something higher comes in, like a full trust, and this connection with divine develops stronger when we fully open up and surrender. So certain self-will practices can take us only that far. Like yoga is beautiful. I have been doing yoga for years. I still do my morning practice and everything. So certain self-will practices like that are great, but I would say that part of surrender is what really pushed me forward.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned purification. Like, can you maybe share something about the importance of purifying oneself if one does this kind of work?
It's interesting. For me personally, shortly before my Kundalini awakening, I suddenly had this intuition that I was just guided that I need to start eating fully raw. So that was around 2011. And for almost entire year, I was eating pretty much fully raw. And I would say that that was one of the greatest catalysts to my spontaneous Kundalini awakening that happened in 2012. So we can, of course, intentionally intend to purify, and there's different ways to purify. The way it came to me, it was purely my intuition guiding me. It was this voice inside of me telling me, you really need to clean up your diet. So I stopped eating all kinds of processed foods. I did not buy any packaging. I would just pretty much eat fruits, vegetables, some small amount of like nuts and seeds, but it was mostly like I was living on smoothies, on salads. And I would say that within like a couple of months, I would feel so connected. I would have the deepest meditations. And I realized that what a huge importance it is what we really put into our body. And if you go into supermarket these days, pretty much everything that you're going to find in the shelves, there's certain preservatives, certain chemicals, and well, why they are there in our food, that's another topic that perhaps we're not going to go too much into today, but let's just say that the way the system is designed, it's not designed for our awakening.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to us to fully take responsibility in our own hands and truly decide what we're going to put in our bodies, first of all. So first of all, there's physical purification that I feel it's very important, because that really helps us to be pure energy channels when we really purify our physical body. And then, of course, kundalini energy, it's going to bring up certain things inside ourselves, certain wounding, certain past traumas, certain emotional pain. And then there is a quite longer part of spiritual, emotional purification that takes a while. And it's not really pleasant for people to go through, but it's so worth it if we truly, truly look in the eye of our deepest pain, and we can learn to hold the children inside of us and really be there for our children instead of abandoning them, instead of pushing our issues away. If we can just fully feel ourselves and feel these deep shadow parts of ourselves, there's a huge gift on the other side. So I reassure you, if it's difficult, keep on going, and you're going to get on the other side, and it's all going to be so worth it. I feel that I've been going through lots of dark nights of the soul, and maybe sometimes from what I post in social media, it might not look like that. We all sometimes post our beautiful sides, but thanks to these more difficult experiences in my life, I'm really more whole as a person, and as a result, I'm more pure as energy channel.
Wow, thank you. If you look back, like on your journey or on your life, is there anything you maybe could have done differently?
Wow. I could answer this question in two ways.
Mm-hmm.
But if I answer this question from higher perspective, from my higher self, I would say that there is no mistakes. Even, for example, going down that path of being in this glamorous world of fashion for a while, and being in environments of like drugs and experiencing certain kind of states, and it was all so worth it, because when we really go away from our true self, we experience the opposite, and then it's such a sweet return to come back home again. And I would say even different mistakes that I would look back in my relationship and I would think I should have done that differently. I could have been perhaps more considerate, or I should have done something differently. Perhaps also we can learn from these mistakes and really learn to transform pain into wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that that is this great alchemy coming here to the earth. We are coming here and we are experiencing duality. So black and white, good and bad, and we are here for everything. We are here to perhaps go to the deepest, darkest depths, and we are here to transmute that and alchemize that. So I would say my mistakes have been also my greatest teachers and greatest catalysts on my path of where I am today. And thanks to some of my mistakes, I am who I am today.
Okay. For women who are like having trouble embracing their feminine side and living from that, where would you tell them to start, and how to allow it to flower?
Mm. Yes, it's a big issue these days, when I feel that most of us, we are very much into this unconscious masculine. Um, and I would tell women to start with their bodies, perhaps start developing some kind of embodiment practice, perhaps. Just do anything to help you to get out of your head into your body. How does my body feel today? What is it that I need today? How can I move today to really allow the energy to move through me? So perhaps doing some kind of stagnant, everyday, regular things, we can perhaps get into this flow. And I would say pick up some dance practice, for example. That's a great way. Right away, it would get you from your head into your body. If you really dance with devotion, if you really dance with openness to spirit, right away it would get you out of your head into your body. So there's all sorts of different practices, but I would say also create more time for your space, more time to just be. So instead of doing, instead of having like schedule and doing things every day, start being. And we live in this society that does not really validate being. It thinks that, oh, you're just lazy, you're just relaxing too much. But this is how feminine energy regains its power. This is how feminine energy really taps into this flow. We need space for ourselves. For example, when women have periods, most women just continue going to their work, doing their daily things, but actually in ancient traditions, you're supposed to just be with Mother Earth, be with other women, and just honor also your cycles, because through just like Mother Earth going through different seasons, for us women we are going through different seasons, and sometimes in one day there could be like 4 different seasons. Sometimes we are emotional, and sometimes we just need to really allow ourselves to really express all of that, because really, as women, we are the life force of the universe. There's so much inside of us, so much different seasons, and it's simply impossible for us try to fit in some kind of masculine way of being. And this is again how the society is constructed. Everything is based on masculine way of being from the schooling system. We go and we learn everything, and also from masculine kind of way of being. And again, everything is designed for us to kind of disconnect us from our feminine. And again, it comes down to taking full responsibility and reclaiming this feminine power inside of us, because society is not going to support us in that. It's up to us. And also, I would say connecting with earth, just simple things, really, like really putting your body down on the earth and really feeling your body as extension of Mother Earth, feeling the energy currents beneath you. Like, for example, when I just lie on the earth or hug trees these days, what happens to me? It's these full body orgasmic states sometimes comes through, or sometimes I just feel so much energy moving through me. And this is the feminine force in the earth, from Mother Earth. So we have these tools inside everywhere around us. All we have to do is just get out of our heads and perhaps go spend more time with Mother Earth. That's one of the simple ways, but there's many ways how we can get back to our feminine energy, and this is something that I'm deeply passionate about, and this is why I'm also sharing my work with women and creating different retreats for women, because I feel that the world needs to get back into balance, needs to reclaim this divine feminine energy, get back into our hearts.
Thank you. Can you speak about sex and its importance in your life over the years?
That's again a huge topic. It's interesting. Ever since my Kundalini awakening, my concept of sexuality totally changed. And I started to feel sexual energy as deeply sacred. And ever since my Kundalini awakening happened, I also experienced suddenly like really, really deep orgasmic states that I never experienced before. And I would say that Kundalini awakening is like a catalyst for us to truly feel into the sacredness of sexual energy. Because these days it has been so distorted, and people, they have such a kind of narrow and also twisted concept what sexuality really is. So sexual energy really in its essence is the most sacred life force energy of creation. And when we truly understand the potency of this energy, we become mindful and everything shifts, and we start to use this energy as energy of pure creation. So imagine that this energy, sexual energy, can create a new human being. And just imagine what else this powerful, sacred sexual energy can do. This is basically the energy of our greatest creation. So how we use our sexual energy, it's so important to develop this mindfulness. But I feel that that naturally happens when the Kundalini energy awakens, and we start to feel this sexual energy as sacred. And again, it's something that is so hard to explain with words. It's something that we feel deep into our bodies. Yeah, I often feel that during my sessions, certain orgasmic energy comes through. And people often have, for example, energetic orgasms happening. And that really is the life force of creation. So I feel that when the Kundalini energy awakens as well, we totally open up to new dimensions when it comes to sexual energy.
What is your view on
I could talk about this for a long time. Okay.
what is your view on celibacy?
Celibacy. I feel that perhaps it can be really powerful when used periodically. So how, again, the society is constructed is that especially men are leaking so much life force energy through different means. And it's this constant leakage of energy. And when we choose to, for example, become celibate for some time, we, for example, set certain goal, often what happens with people is that we feel huge energy buildup in our system. And when we really learn to channel this energy, we can really feel into our bodies how it's so powerful. It's incredibly powerful energy when we really stop any leakages and we really concentrate this energy in our body for some period of time. We can use this energy, for example, to manifest things, to create things. We can channel this energy in all sorts of different ways. So I feel that celibacy for some time, it can be really purifying, definitely. It can be really powerful. So I would recommend that for some time.
Thank you. Can you tell me about your relationship to the divine, like how it appeared and changed over the years?
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to be repeating myself a bit, but again,
Okay.
Since my Kundalini awakening, I feel that my concept of divine completely shifted, because before it was very much kind of in my head. So I was like reading certain books and there was some beautiful information, interesting information, and I felt like, yeah, I'm kind of there. Like I can like kind of sense my aura, I can feel energies a bit, and I'm kind of like connected. And I just had this kind of concept of spirituality very much in my head. And then what happened when this kundalini life force suddenly awoken in my body, I actually could feel the divine energy inside of me, like I was the divine energy. So I went from kind of being in my head and thinking of spirituality and thinking that I'm spiritual to suddenly actually feeling like I'm incarnation of divine energy inside my vessel.
Mm.
So that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And when this happens to people at my sessions, I'm always like, it always kind of almost brings me to tears because I know the potency of this. When this powerful life force energy awakens in our bodies, we actually become embodiments of divine energy. So I would say that over the course of my life, it has shifted tremendously. And still, even after my Kundalini awakening, which happened now, it happened 11 years ago, there has been different cycles of more opening, more deepening. And when sometimes I could feel that, yeah, I think I'm really connected, and I'm in really great space. And then something happens and something can open up more, and I realize, wow, this energy is infinite and expansive. And really, as long as we are here on the earth, this is going to be a continuous journey, being in this love affair with divine.
Mm. Thank you. Maybe you already shared this, but have you noticed the impact of food on your life and your spiritual practices? Like, how do you make that change? Is it a calling or is it something that you take up consciously?
Again, I think it depends from a person, if it's a calling or if it's a conscious choice. For me, it happened really intuitively, that suddenly I felt it was like a clear message from the spirit, you have to purify. And I was just suddenly craving everything that's fresh, everything that's living, because I could really taste the life force in the food. So I
Mm.
would go outside, I would pick like an apple or raspberry or salads, and I was like kind of devouring the life force. It sounds a bit strange to most of the people, I know, but this is true. When you become really energetically sensitive, you actually cannot eat certain foods anymore. So
Mm.
if I sometimes I'm invited somewhere and perhaps I taste some kind of food that I normally don't eat, and my body is like kind of repelling against it. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'm not even reading ingredients, but I can just kind of sense that my body is saying, no, thank you. This is not divine life force. This does not belong in your divine vessel.
Mm.
So I feel that this is huge, really, what we put into our bodies.
Mm.
And I would recommend, if you can, try raw foods for some time, perhaps as a cleanse.
Yeah.
Perhaps now in European summertime, it's a great opportunity to just eat fresh and just see how you feel. There's no need to restrict yourself, but just try for some few days, for some few weeks, and just see if you feel anything different. And most likely you will start to feel kind of more sense of connection, more sense of connection with the divine energy, because we have to remember that everything is energy and food is energy. And most of the people somehow they don't make this connection. But also, yeah, there's of course different levels. For example, the best is always what you pick yourself. Even apple at the grocery store, it's been sprayed with pesticides. And so I would always recommend, if you can get organic food, that is great investment into your, not only into your health, but also into your spiritual connection, because it really affects greatly how we feel, how we think. I remember long time ago. Sometimes I would eat in McDonald's. It feels like a previous lifetime. I was like a teenager back then, and I could even remember now that I would suddenly have this huge cloud around me, and it was just awful. So yeah, just eat fresh, organic, and it's going to take you to beautiful, deep places and really purify you.
Thank you. Can you tell me about your CAP training and how it had impacted you?
Okay. So before my CAP training, I shared with you that I had spontaneous kundalini energy awakening, and I would often feel this energy in my hands, and I would feel like my hands were burning, and I basically would feel that this energy really wanted to be expressed through me, but I did not know how. Back then, I remember I became a yoga teacher. I was teaching yoga for some time, and I was doing some other things, but really what was so potent inside of me was this life force energy wanting to be expressed. And then on my path came Venant Wong, the founder of CAP. And from that point onward, I would say so much things shifted in my life because I learned to really become transmission channel. So I did my CAP training. I became one of the first CAP facilitators in the world. It was early on when CAP first started. And I would basically learn how to channel this energy. From that point onward, I started to do all the sessions around the world and working as energy transmission channel. And I feel that this CAP training really helped me to kind of structure my energy a bit more. Where before I did not know exactly how. I just knew that my part was definitely to work with energy. But I feel that CAP part really kind of showed me the way how to work with this energy in effective, powerful way, really shifting lives for people. And I trust that maybe there's different modalities, how you can work with this energy. But for me, CAP was a really powerful thing in my life, really putting me on the right path, working with this energy in really beneficial way for other people.
Thank you. So where are you now in your process?
That's a big question. I feel that I'm a never-ending path of expansion, and perhaps in this human incarnation we're never gonna arrive to a certain point where we have completed something. So I'm here just like you on this earth for this experience and open to whatever wants to come through me next. But I feel that I'm definitely very connected to myself, to my body, to my spirit, and at the point in my life where I can really share my gifts as a powerful energy transmission channel. And I'm also in deep gratitude for this, for having arrived here at this place and being able to shift other people's lives. Because, yeah, I often see it always touches me deeply when people come back to new sessions with me and they always share their deep transformations. And I feel really that it's a blessing to be able to really help awaken other people. So that's the path that I'm on now, and always never-ending self-expansion. And however spirit wants to move through me, I'm serving here as an open vessel, open channel to expand myself and to help other people expand. So let's see what's around the corner. I have no idea. All I can do is trust the great mystery and surrender. Always surrender surrender even deeper.
What is your wish for the world?
I truly wish that all of us could feel the divinity inside of ourselves, to really return home, feel the connection with our bodies, with our hearts, with the spirit of divine feminine, because when all of us are truly connected to that place inside of ourselves, this world would be such a different place. So imagine if all of us are connected with our hearts, with the divine energy, how would we treat the earth? How would we treat each other? There would be new earth, I would say. There would be new levels of consciousness. And this world would totally shift forever. So my deepest wish is that we all can truly feel this divine spirit inside of ourselves, moving through us, moving through our bodies, and then really living from that space moment by moment. And sometimes even if we forget, we can close our eyes and we can just feel into this space and remember and forgive ourselves for forgetting. So this is my biggest wish, that we all can really become embodiments of divine. And this is who we are. This is what we are already born with since we came to this earth. It's just that we've been conditioned to forget and we have forgotten. So may we all fully remember and return home. That is my wish.
Do you have like any specific, vision or picture that you want to share with the world or manifest into the world?
Well, continuing on my last thing that I was saying about us being embodiments of divine, my vision would be to create a new harmonic world where we truly live from a new place. Perhaps say goodbye to the 3D matrix and create the kind of lives where we truly feel fulfilled, in connection with spirit, in connection with earth. How that might exactly look like, I don't know, but perhaps it would be coming together, supporting each other, maybe being more in community, perhaps more working with the earth, perhaps having more spiritual practices on everyday basis, not religion, but true spiritual practices where we feel connected with spirit. Perhaps we could build some new beautiful temple spaces. We could just create the kind of world where we fully feel that we are embodiments of divine energy. So whatever expression that might come, let that unfold. That is my vision.
Okay, but it's not like you want to open a retreat center or do something
More
specific.
practical things.
Yeah.
I would love to create some kind of center for people at some stage, for sure, where people can come and travel from all over the world and to really tap into this life force energy, connect with nature. I'm doing some few retreats. I have one this year coming up in Costa Rica. That's going to be for women only. So it's like a small kind of mini kind of vision. I'm going to have a bigger future vision regards that, but my vision would be definitely people coming together in some powerful nature places where we can really activate the life force energy and be in harmony with the earth, and to heal and eat fresh living raw foods in abundance, and to have some kind of healing space for people. That would be so beautiful and so necessary.
Ilse, what drives you? What drives you?
What drives me?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting again. It's hard for this to explain, but ever since I was a child, I shared with you sometimes that I would have these states that I would feel this deep connection and this power inside of me, and that kind of spark has never left me. So there has been some kind of power force inside of me that has always kind of nudged me forward in life, driven me forward. And what it is, I don't know. Perhaps all of us have this inside of ourselves, but I just feel that I always have been driven by this force that is deep inside my core, and that is a spark of truth and light that has been driving me forward in life. And all of us can tap into this spark inside of us. It's there, even if you have forgotten. It's always there. So
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. We're at 1 hour, by the way. I don't know if you want to stop or if you want to continue a bit more.
if
Whatever.
I don't mind a bit more, it's fine. If you have
Okay.
some burning, interesting questions.
Thank you. You know, when people say, like, I've got all these options, but I don't know what's the right thing to do. How can people choose the right thing to do?
Again, the answer is very simple. Get out of your mind, get into your body. Only you know the answer. So with our mind, there's all these versions, all these endless possibilities. We want this and that, and we can't decide, and it's all these endless possibilities. But what is it really that your heart and your body is telling you? And deep inside, when you truly tap into this place, when you close your eyes, when you truly feel yourself, usually all the answers are there. And if you have to think of something too long, perhaps that's not the right thing for you. Just listen to your intuition. Usually when it's the right thing for you, you're going to get this feeling inside your body that it's going to tell you, go ahead, there's a red light.
Yeah.
So again, this is about establishing this connection with your body, because there's so much wisdom, so much answers inside our body that is connected with our deepest intuition, and mind often gets in the way.
Thank you.
So listen to that place more, develop that relationship more.
How do you recommend people start on their journey and keep on it? Is there like a key or practice that you keep coming back to?
So to stay on your journey, stay on your path. I guess, again, I can use myself as example that for me it was something that was just nudging me forward, and I had no choice, and I did not even have any doubts or other options or something that would kind of threaten me to take me off my path. It kind of, I was just surrendering to the spirit, and spirit was showing me the way. But I think it takes certain level of embodiment, I guess, to get to that place. So perhaps some daily practices, starting with simple things, maybe daily yoga, maybe meditation. That could be like a simple start for anybody. Cleaning up your diet, perhaps, eating less processed foods, eating more fresh foods. So getting out in nature, allowing all that life force from Mother Earth really move through you, breathing, just simple things that we often forget. And if we can just incorporate them on our daily life, it could really shift our lives. So just keep on doing whatever works for you. For some, it might be some kind of breathing practice. For others, it might be the meditation or yoga or dance, or maybe creating art can really get you in some beautiful, deep states. So just listen what it is for you that brings you peace, brings you joy, brings you connection with your spirit. And I would say just expand on these things, do them every day, because you are worth it. That is act of self-love. And for us, our connection with spirit, there's nothing more precious than that. So do that for yourself every day.
Thank you. So for you, what is this all about? Is it about being in the flow?
What all about? The life?
Yeah.
I would say that I came here to be my unique expression. And the life force, the source, decided to create this woman called Ilse in my physical body. And I'm open to celebrate my existence in however spirit wants to move through me. Being in my flow and offering my gifts and listening really every day, day by day, what is it that I might need in this moment? And just letting life flow through me instead of living my life, being in control of it. I open up, I surrender, and I allow life to flow through me. And this is, I would say, this is a choice that we can all make every single day. Are we gonna really be in our heads, plan everything, and just try to control life, or are we going to surrender to life? And maybe when we step back and allow something bigger to move through us, maybe then magic can happen, maybe then miracles can happen, maybe then your path might shift and lead you perhaps to your highest path in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So
on your own paths, like, how do you bring yourself to it if you fall from it or if you deviate from it?
Well, I would say again, just like I recommend to other people, it comes down to simple things, moment by moment. Earth, breathing, clean foods, just listening to myself.
Is it right to say that you have a solid foundation, basic things?
Oh yeah. These days it's really hard for me to fall totally off my path. It has not happened for quite many years, but who knows? But I feel very kind of grounded.
Yeah.
I feel very embodied.
Yeah.
And I feel like as long as I'm in this pure state of devotion to source, to creation, and listening, having this strong relationship, it's going to lead me forward to right direction. And I feel that this connection is so strong that somehow I'm deeply grounded in it, in this relationship. And this is where your power lies, in your relationship with the source. When you come to this point where you feel really grounded, this is where the dark forces or the matrix world, they can't really shake you up too hard, because no matter what, you feel this deep trust in divine and you feel grounded.
Yeah.
And also I would say, other thing I could share is that during the CAP sessions, often during my energy work, certain non-dual states comes through as well for people. So imagine it is perhaps like a deep meditation state. And this state sometimes can be carried through our lives. So perhaps we have a bad day, or perhaps something goes wrong. And if we can really tap into this state, kind of not get caught up in the matrix, but kind of take a step back and feel into this spacious, quiet place inside of ourselves, we kind of can be a bit untouched by all the drama that's happening in the world. So I would really recommend for everybody to cultivate that space, this spacious, expansive, peaceful place inside of ourselves that that is always like our home, really.
Thank you. What do you see when you meet men and women?
Generally, these days, quite a bit of work to do, I would say. if we're looking at the general kind of population.
Okay.
But I feel that also that is changing, and the divine feminine energy is really wanting to wake up. And even women that are kind of really disconnected, I see this urge inside of them to get back to their bodies, to their hearts, and there is this longing to come home, to return to the truth of who we are. And men, I feel that men are slowly kind of catching up. I think women can have kind of been leading the way a bit, but I feel that slowly men are also kind of stepping up. But of course, we have so much confusion in society. I would say that certain dark forces, they want to create confusion between sexes. So we forget what is our true role, and we don't really know what does it mean to be a woman, what does it mean to be a man these days. And certain forces want to create even more confusion of perhaps transgender issues and all sorts of different things happening these days. Let's just say there's many agendas out there designed for us to disconnect from this core.
Yeah.
But really, deep down, if we ask ourselves, for example, what does it mean to be woman? And our body, our connection, our heart will give us the answers. For example, to be a woman, it's one of the, I would say, it's the power of the universe. It's the cosmic dance of Shakti and different seasons. And there's so much creative energy in being a woman, and so much celebration of life and divinity and heart. And it is powerful to be a woman when we truly remember what it means to be a woman. And the same, yeah.
Do you have any pointers for the way men are now and where they should lean into more?
Well, the men, as always, I mean, when we look at Shiva and Shakti, Shiva is there to hold space for Shakti. So Shiva is pure consciousness. So for men, the good question to ask, it would be, how can I more expand into consciousness? How can I get into that stable, grounded space where I can hold the Shakti, where I can hold this creative power of the universe? It's quite a big job for a man to hold all this energy, but I feel that it's so important for men to truly tap into this divine masculine, because women are so longing for that, for you to return to your true selves so we can coexist in harmony and create beautiful new earth. So for men, when you feel this inner calling to work on yourself, to get back into your true masculine energy, just take on some practices, do the work. It's going to be so worth it. And us women, we're going to greatly thank you for that. So I really pray that all men can truly remember what it means to be a man these days. And when we go back to the ancient teachings of India, it's always the consciousness. So expanding and rooting yourself into this deep, deep consciousness. Imagine like a tree is rooted and grounded. So I would love to see masculine energy in this true, powerful, grounded space where there is no confusion, where man can truly hold the woman. So I pray that our world can see that very soon.
Thank you. What is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal?
Yeah.
Well, Lately, actually, it's been really amazing smoothie bowl. So I've been blending some berries and some frozen cherries and bananas with different superfood powders. And it really tastes like a candy, like it's so good. This is the thing where we eat. When we eat truly living natural foods, they actually taste amazing. So people maybe have this misperception that eating healthy must be probably not so tasty, but actually I'm so enjoying my food. So for example, making my smoothie bowls, it's like every ingredient, when I create my big smoothie bowl, it's like a meditation. So I sometimes go out in mornings and I pick my own berries. I pick my own raspberries, for example. I mix it with some frozen bananas. I add all these amazing, delicious super powders. And I just feel that, wow, I really created this. And there's so much of my love energy and energy of Mother Earth, and it's feeding and nourishing my temple. So lately, smoothie bowls have been my favorite during the summer.
What's your favorite music?
My favorite music. Again, it's such a versatile topic, and I cannot even tell you a particular singer or a band at the moment because it's truly so versatile and it keeps on changing. But perhaps something like my CAP playlist that you were perhaps hearing a bit of that. So I like music where I can feel soul, where I can feel the divine energy coming through. And to be honest with you, most of the music these days, like randomly on the radio, I cannot listen to. There's certain frequency, like certain kind of programs inside of there. So yeah, I'm quite picky with the music. So, but I feel if the creator of the music is really connected, tapped into the source consciousness, it's gonna come through, like with everything, like with music or piece of art or dance or any creation. We can just feel that there is a spirit force coming through the creation. So that's my favorite kind of music.
Have you ever tried making music, or do you sing?
No, this is one talent that I want to expand. But I feel that sometimes during my sessions lately, actually, my voice has been coming out more. And my voice kind of assists with the energy transmissions, but it's not exactly in a singing form. It's more like kind of a bit of like a chanting. But my voice is definitely coming out more strongly than ever before. But I think that's a great way to expand, to perhaps start singing or do some music again. So.
Do you have experience with dancing naked, like being wild and free?
Well, if we can be in the right place in nature,
Yeah.
go for it. We
Yeah.
feel that anything that can really support our expansion, if that means taking off your clothes and dancing naked, I'm all for it. So in the right occasion, I'm all about it, surely.
Yeah. So we're basically at the end, actually. Do you have any question for me?
Well, well, why don't you tell us where you are at now in your journey, perhaps?
Okay, where am I at in my journey?
As I've been noticing you participating in some of my sessions, and now you've been also doing your training. So I would just like to know where you're at in your process, in your journey.
So over the last year, having done a lot of CAP sessions, having had a lot of experiences, and being aware of experiencing non-dual states, being in flow, and like facilitating sessions or just being with people where actually you're just being presence and everything is so graceful, like the interactions, the things that are said or not, the sessions, the way they unfold. And then there is a period where you come back, or you try to analyze, or you try to do, or you have a goal and you're like goal oriented and you use force. And for me, that somehow it motivates me. I want to go deeper and deeper. Like, why is there such an openness in these non-dual stage, in this when there's just presence, but then there's a closing, there's closing back, and there's this like, why am I closing myself off from being open, from love, from connection? What is the conscious or unconscious reasoning behind it? What are the mechanisms? So right now I'm really like focused on doing a couple of retreats where I really want to go deeper and deeper into embodying love, embodying love, embodying love. Yeah.
Beautiful. That is really, love is everything. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's all about love and getting back to that space of purity, and that is always found in our hearts.
Mm.
Beautiful, beautiful space to be.
I'm glad that you can pray to the divine, or you can ask for help, or you feel that you're guided, because sometimes it feels so lonely.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe it's just my own interpretation, but it feels very lonely at times, because to go through that point where you go into full surrender, it feels like you're giving things up. And yeah, it's difficult to explain into words, but it's it can feel quite lonely, because you feel like you're giving things up and you don't know what you're gonna receive.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah. Like our familiar world changes and
yeah,
relationship changes, and
yeah.
sometimes it can be scary, all of that, when so much change is happening and we don't know what is it on the other side yet. But
Mm.
this is important sometimes, to do that jump anyway and trust and develop more trust every day.
Yeah. What is the most important thing you've learned
Learned from
in your life?
that, or just generally?
In your
Generally.
life.
Oh, that's such a wide question. Let's see what comes through now. I mean, I could talk about so many things that I have learned, but somehow what comes through now is just be yourself. It's, again, simple, because often in this society we often want certain roles, or fulfill certain expectations, or go certain paths which we think we might need. But just fully tap into your own authentic core, and what is it that your true self wants to express? How do you really want to live your life? So just being fully authentic to yourself, even if it looks strange by society, or even if our family might judge us or think that we might be lost or whatever else. We need to be strong to stand fully in our own true self and own it, and not to water it down, not to make ourselves any less for anybody else ever. And I feel that is so important for us to truly embrace our true authentic selves, our true power, and shine anyway, even if it can blind some people, and just fully celebrate your existence. You have this gift of this life in this body, and it's fully up to you what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
So at the end of our lives, this is our own life, and we just have to be true to ourselves fully on all levels. So I would say, just be yourself.
So in your life, what do you see as your biggest breakthrough?
I would say, well, there has been many different breakthroughs, but what comes through now, somehow perhaps because I'm also visiting my homeland, Latvia, and I've been kind of tapping into some old memories also lately, being here, spending some time here, and I would say that I was brought up a certain way with certain conditionings that would be actually really hard to break through. And I can see how people around me, for example, are living in certain kind of ways, certain realities. And I'm proud of myself that I have kind of broken through certain conditionings, certain narratives, certain ways of being that has been so like generational. Yeah, it's been really like a huge quantum jump of consciousness. So even if I remember myself like before my kundalini awakening, again, I give that as a reference point. But I had such a different way of looking at the world. I was so conditioned. And I was also really disconnected from my true self. And I was not embracing that. So I would say that that's been my biggest breakthrough, somehow to step into my full authentic self, to embrace myself and be on my unique path, giving my unique gifts that only I can give from this space. Otherwise, perhaps I would be living somebody else's life and not ever knowing that things can be different, thinking in the box, being certain way, like, for example, certain people around me that are kind of in my family as well. And so I think it takes a brave soul, a strong person to really break through certain strong conditionings, and kundalini energy are always obviously going to bring us from false into truth.
Ilse, how do you set up your life? Like, what is your thing, your specialty?
My specialty? You mean in terms of what I do, or?
No, in terms of, so for instance, do you plan a schedule like, oh, I'm going to stay here and give cap sessions, maybe do some other things as well, and then there and then there? Like, how do you set that up? Do you consciously, intentionally set it up?
No, I don't.
No. Okay.
So if I look back at my life, even the last 10 years, I've been living in all sorts of different places and traveling so much. And it has not been like full conscious head kind of decision. I was led. So for example, I was living for some time in Hawaii, where I feel that I truly got some energetic downloads. I was led there to connect with certain sacred sites. The same happened to me when I was in Indonesia and Bali. I was living at some point by this powerful, huge volcano, and I felt that somehow often I've been guided in mysterious ways to certain energetic places around the world. And somehow I'm receiving energy and I'm exchanging certain energy when I'm at certain places in the world. And this has been pretty much the story of my life for the last 10 years, that somehow suddenly I feel this intuition or something opens up for me to be in certain particular place. And pretty much everywhere where I travel, I share my work, I share my kundalini sessions with people. And somehow my life has unfolded in a way that I can share my gifts and experience the world. And somehow I feel that being at these sacred power places of the world, it's actually a huge part of what I do. It's hard to explain really with my words, but I just know that whenever I go to certain places, I get certain energy. For example, in a few days, I'm going to Glastonbury in England, where I have never been, but I felt strong calling that for whatever reason, I just have to be there.
Mhm.
And apparently that is heart chakra of the world, and there's Mary Magdalene trails and lots of beautiful sacred sites over there. So I'm trusting again that there's something that is really needed for myself. And of course, I'm going to be sharing also my tap sessions. And I have some also other things, exciting things coming up, some more sharings. But somehow my life, I would say it's in the flow with the spirit. Of course, I still plan certain things, you know.
Mhm.
It's important to have certain planning still, but mostly I feel that I'm in this cosmic flow. And sometimes I'm surprised myself that certain magical things unfold.
Yeah.
So that's how I've been living my life, totally in Shakti, in feminine flow.
Mm. Do you find that marketing and sharing this to the world is difficult or easy?
Mm, to be honest, I haven't really done much marketing. Just share basically, even on my Instagram, I just share whatever I like to share, whatever I feel inspired to share. For example, I'm sharing, I might share like my session is happening that and that date. And then people just usually show up. I usually have never had, I guess it's again the magnetism, the flow, but somehow I never had an empty session or very
Mm.
few people showing up. I never have had that. Um, of course, also CAP modality is growing and it's expanding. But I feel that I'm doing things in my own way. I'm
Mhm.
not following the crowd, and I feel that I have certain um, transmission ability and certain level of, perhaps I would say, purity. And of course, I always let other people to judge that, but I feel that there's something really that only I can gift to the world. And as long as we always remember that each of us here are unique and we all have all sorts of different gifts. What gift I might have, maybe you might have something else. And it's
Mm.
important to just fully trust
Yeah.
and really serve as a vessel. And with that kind of energy, the right people will always show up. So the kind of marketing that I do, it's basically, if that's even marketing, it would be just letting people know that I'm doing my sessions, posting something on my Instagram when I feel inspired. So
Yeah.
I'm not a marketing guru, that's for sure.
Are you earning money with this work?
Yes, I would say so. I feel that it's important always to have the right energy exchange for our gifts and never to sell ourselves short,
Mhm.
because also what I have invested in myself and my dedication to this path, it's very strong. And I feel that um, it's important to value ourselves.
Mhm.
So that is one of my incomes. I also sell my artwork. I do some other things,
Mm.
but I would say this is my main income.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's something, and you know, even when you ask me this question, it does not feel like it does not feel like work. It's just doing something that I'm meant to do, and getting abundance is the most natural byproduct in the world. Of course, I'm getting abundance for sharing something that's deeply, authentically flows through me, and that is just a natural byproduct when we truly share our gifts and when
Mm.
we truly share from pure space.
Yeah. Okay. Um, that was it. Thank you so much for your time and your
Oh,
energy and your presence.
so
I will
beautiful.
I will link your information in the podcast.
Mm.
Um, do you want anything else as last thing to say?
Well, it's been pleasure to be here to share about me to your audience, and might this serve to inspire some people. And always stay connected with yourself and trust yourself and be yourself, and if you want some assistance, experience my or Igor's beautiful work. And may the source be with you always.
I have done a couple of your sessions and I can really recommend it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.